Meet John. John is a salesperson for a tech company. If you ask John, how long have you been in sales? John would say, since I was old enough to talk. John has been in sales for a few years now, and he does what most people in sales think they need to do in order to get to the top of the leaderboard. He drives a lot of activity. Unfortunately, it's a lot of activity without results. When John gets back to his office, he proudly displays all the business cards he's gathered throughout the day. John got to go to President's Club 2 years ago when his boss gave him a lead that ended up being one of the largest deals the company had ever closed. Today, John spends most of his time hunting whales and elephants, hoping that he lands a big enough deal to get him back to President's Club. He spends the rest of his time at the water cooler reliving his glory days. Like most salespeople, John was taught how to sell by following one of the hundreds of step-by-step, paint-by-numbers, fill-out-this-colored-sheet approach to selling. Managers throughout John's career have advised him to just do what I did, or drive an activity model that statistically causes 80% of people who carry a sales title to underperform month after month. A couple of years ago, circumstances allowed John to get to the top of the leaderboard. Unfortunately, John, like many other salespeople, are unable to scale circumstances. These best practices sales approaches may on occasion get someone to the top of the leaderboard, but rarely will they get a salesperson performing consistently or to the top of their game. Within a few months, John is on a performance plan and ultimately ends up leaving the sales profession. Meet Paul. Paul is a sales professional for a managed services firm. He consistently overachieves his quota month after month and has been to President's Club for the last 11 years. Paul is generally the first person in the office or the last person out. Paul was John 12 years ago until he met the sales artist. Paul instantly recognized that the sales artist was unlike many of the salespeople he had met up to that point in his career. The sales artist's ability to get his client to open up and share candid thoughts regarding their goals, challenges, and opportunities seemed effortless and absent of a list of standard spiel questions or some paint-by-numbers, fill-out-a-colored sheet of paper approach to building relationships. The solution, just like the close, came from natural conversations, not forced presentations. Sales professionals, unlike salespeople, said the sales artist, drive activity with results. Specifically, they drive activity in the areas that help them to fulfill their role in a way that not only differentiates them from every other salesperson calling on their prospect or client, but also in a way that helps them to get to the top of their game, top of their earning potential, reduce the time it takes to get to a natural close, and improve their conversion rate across the entire sales process. And regardless of the industry that they're in, the time and history or economic conditions in which they are selling, or the territory they are managing, the top sales professionals consistently look down on their sales objectives. How do I become a top sales professional? Asked Paul. By modeling what the best-in-class sales pros have done to get to the top of their game and earning potential. This is different from the best practices step-by-step approaches, or the hundreds of books that are written every year that have you filling out this colored sheet or asking these standard spiel questions. I was taught how to perform the role of a sales professional by learning the framework that the greatest sales professionals of all time have used to do the hardest thing a salesperson must do on their way to becoming a sales professional. What's that? Asked Paul. They taught me how to abandon my agenda in favor of my customer's agenda. How to empathize as a means to advance the conversation so that the potential solutions can be discussed. Paul, who had been hoping for the right base, right territory, right manager to show up and wanting desperately to get out of the ups and downs of selling, ended up becoming an apprentice to the sales artist. And over the past 11 years, even during the worst recession since the Great Depression, Paul has been at the top of the leaderboard consistently and actively working to get to the top of his game. There are many Johns in the sales world, and statistically, very few Pauls. Take a moment to read or listen to the first-hand testimonials of people who started out as Johns and became Pauls after attending a real ABC's workshop. And then, contact us to find out how we can help you or your organization get to the top of your game and consistently overachieving quotas.